Hello, this is Kast with Connor Sinclair. The date is May 18th, 2013, May 3050. Today we've got a small group to speak. This is an emergency Kongcast, just going over updates. There's actually been quite a bit of updates. We have Laser Angel.
Hi everyone, it's Laser Angel again.
Cocaine Samurai.
Alright, is this better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Perfect.
Alright, Cyan Kitsune.
Hello.
Kalis.
This is Kalis.
Molasses Farts.
I hate you guys so much. Every time.
Piners.
Good evening, everyone.
Valkyrie.
Morning, everybody, or evening, rather. We are at PAULCON 2.
PAULCON 2. And a special listener today. Okay.
He's not talking
Is
for some reason.
that my cue?
I
yes,
guess.
that would be you.
So, let's just go over what we've got here. Well, I guess we got some fucking critique, I guess, from Standing Cow. Was he a gold? Was he a fat? I can't even remember.
It's listener feedback. He's a gold. It doesn't matter. I replied to him very politely.
It does, and I don't know. But basically, he doesn't like the fact that we mock, I guess. But kind of our humor. I mean, take it as you will. He doesn't like the mocking. Gets on his nerves. He likes the critical bit.
You can't please everyone.
I know.
Basically just the tone of the forums, more or less.
Right. Well, I understand what he's kind of doing. He basically wanted, like, literally a think tank. You know, like an Intersphere think tank. Well, this is what the Curetans are doing. The Dracs are going over there, and the Lyrans have no clue what they're doing. I don't know. We're literally just a bunch of a group of people, and we're like-minded, and we all have the same opinion. That's basically it. We will mock, but
Yeah, you have to understand that the mocking sort of thing. It's part of. I mean, we're all from 4chan, obviously. So, but obviously, we're all from 4chan. And it's just kind of the culture there. It's in the same way the goons are frequently, I wouldn't say mocking, but frequently their jokes come at everybody else's expense. And it's just kind of their thing. I don't really blame them for it. It's just that's their internet culture, and it's kind of the same way it is here. I'm not going to apologize for it, but at the same time, you have to understand that sometimes when we make these mocking comments, there's a reason for it.
It's like you have that friend, and he calls you gay every time you see him.
Yeah.
Ha! Gay?
What's up, fag? Not much homo. Yeah, literally that.
Take what is said with a grain of salt and read between the lines.
Right. I mean,
Connor,
if you take this cast
you also got to
literally-
understand that we're really frustrated. I mean,
Don't take it personal is really the thing that we need to put it through. Don't take it personal. At this point, it's a lot of the mocking is more frustration with the direction the game has been heading, and the fact that up until now, nobody was really willing to listen to us, despite the fact that we kind of called most of this as was happening.
yeah. Okay, let's go ahead.
The fact that we're here shows that we're still actually passionate and we haven't completely given up on the game, and that's probably why we're frustrated and irritated, because of our passion. Otherwise, we simply wouldn't care.
It's not our hatred of PGI. It's our love of BattleTech. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually move on to some real topics.
Let's talk about the beta shield. At the end of the previous Concast, Tobias made a comment about PGI using the beta shield as an admission that the game was not ready to be reviewed as a released game, and sort of why would any other company in the gaming industry not do the same thing, and sort of the mentality in the industry that if we can push out a beta and sort of sustain it with funds.
I thought we capped that off pretty good. But Cyan, you got something?
Yeah, I find that's a lot of. There's been a lot of other games that have come before and probably after PGI, and MechWarrior Online is going to do the same thing. They only really do that just so they can start selling something as quickly as possible. I can't really blame the developers directly, but, it's usually a marketing ploy more than anything.
Kalis?
As we're all aware of, Paul has a background with free-to-play games. He worked with Nexon and wrote an essay that kind of explained his how Eastern and Western free-to-play games worked. One of the issues is that he kept banding around a term real early in closed beta called minimal viable product. And that has always kind of given me reserve because it seems like they're just doing the bare minimum to get a product on the shelf so they can sell it to us.
And it shows.
And frankly, that is kind of offensive to me as somebody who's being told every weekend, go buy our stuff, go buy our stuff. And at the same time, we know at the back of their head, they're going, well, we don't really have to give them that much.
They're trying to keep afloat. You can tell because we keep getting more and more hero mechs.
Well, at the same time, they did, say that they were going to release a hero mech every month. And I completely understand their reasoning behind that. Obviously,
they released 3.
Rhonda Snored's Highlander did really, really well for them. So I can see gives them financial impetus to actually keep doing this.
Right.
I'm sure the Misery did pretty well,
and
too.
the Champion mechs now.
I've seen lots of those.
Misery loves company.
Yeah, Misery does love company.
Impetus, sorry,
what I felt about this is how you can criticize them, even though that they've got the beta shield. We've gone a year now, all right? We've gone a year, and this is as far as we've come. And over it, we're looking at the same problems that we keep getting over and over and over. And some of this is actually really easy. We've had people actually come in and give their input and tell us what they think it is. Julian, I think, had a friend who was like a network engineer or something, and he's basically, I know exactly what's going on, and I had a pretty good idea why we're getting, and sure enough, it was exactly that. Laser?
I'd say right now, when it comes to gameplay, I guess we're going to move from Beta Shield to sort of gameplay topics now. Brian sort of brought up in the previous Ask the Developers number 38 that they're making changes every month, and we honestly haven't seen any changes since the late March. I think it was like March 22nd to Thursday, something wrong there. We haven't seen any changes since the missile hotfix.
Right.
And it's almost we aren't gonna see any gameplay changes until May 21st. That is at least 8 weeks there.
God, all right.
But they fixed the social tab now. Now you can actually see people messaging you.
I do like that. Thank God.
So it makes it even easier to join up with other Pop-Tarters. Thanks, PGI.
Actually, I want to bring that up.
Thanks, Obama.
That gives us a chance. We got the coming Blackjack, and I don't really see a place for it, really.
Well, it's Blackjack a really niche mech that was filled by the Hunchback earlier, I would imagine, or the
not the Hunchback, but the Trebuchet, I think, is doing what it's supposed to be doing. See so many Trebs, Kalis.
Well, on paper, the Blackjack doesn't even look good. Like, the Treb looked good on paper, but it didn't really fill a good role. Whereas the Blackjack, it's too light. It's 5 tons less than the Hunchback. So the one energy boat variant it does have isn't going to be as effective as it could be. And on top of that, it wields ballistics for most of the variants, and ballistics on a medium mech are...
It looks like it could be fun, but I have a feeling that it's going to end up basically being the proto-flea in that it can be fun, but serves pretty much no purpose in the current meta whatsoever, and it won't until there's an actual reason to take lots and lots of mediums that are not the maximum tonnage for that weight range. You can take whatever medium you want right now, and it'll try the matchmaker will try to match you against something of the same weight class, but not the same weight tonnage. So if you were to take a Cicada that's really shitty, one of the really poor variants, like the one with the machine gun. No, there's not one with machine guns. Like the one with a stock Cicada, basically. You were to take that, someone else will probably get a Treb, or a Trebuchet or a Hunchback, that's packing 3 PPCs or something like that, because they're on the upper rate. They're in the upper range of actual weight, and that's how the matchmaker sees things. So you're kind of gimping your team from the start, which does kind of suck.
All right. So has NG gone over any of this? Has Garth talked about any of this to anybody?
Garth said on the previous NG that, like, someone brought up, how's the Flea going to be viable? That you're not going to find. I think both Phil and Garth agreed that there are sucky variants and there are kind of sucky mechs, and that Phil mentioned that in dropship mode, that in the dropship lobby, you need something to fill in that last 20 tons out of the 200 or 230. We say it's 235 tons given the number of trial mechs. You just need something to fill in that last mech slot, and you want 4 mechs instead of 3 mechs. So you use the Flea. It's 20 tons. Just throw it in there.
I think they just don't want to break the game anymore. I think they want to lose everybody.
It just kills me that we've asked for BV value and tonnage and stuff, and they don't level us to talk to us. But on Goldcast and everything, oh look, catsuit.
Well, the thing to keep in mind too is that the battle value system in tabletop, it's always been kind of broken. It was broken in BV1, then they moved over to the BV2 system, which, if I'm remembering correctly, is very, very heavily weighted towards mechs that are faster, not necessarily better. So the battle value system, while I think it would be neat to have, doesn't necessarily presents the be-all, end-all fix for the situation that we're looking at here. Really, the best possible way for mechs like the Flea or for the Blackjack or even some of the Centurions to be viable again.
I don't think anybody heard what I said.
It would be to basically... it's all kind of dependent on whether or not Community Warfare comes out anytime soon. And Community Warfare will need to have some sort of system where you take a contract on a certain planet, and it's going to that great house, say House Steiner, is only willing to drop you, with 400 tons of mechs. So you're pretty much going to be mixing nothing but mediums and lights in there when you do that.
All right,
that's really the only way you can do it. Otherwise, everyone's just going to take heavies and assaults all the damn time, like they're doing right now.
I think they really should take a page out of World of Tanks books and go with how each team can only have a maximum amount of tonnage, and they pull people from the matchmaker to fill that pool of tonnage until there's equal tonnage on each side, but not exactly the same mech. So if you have 4 assaults, you only have enough tonnage for like 2 mediums or 4 lights or something like that.
Laser?
Something that they've talked about is that currently the matchmaker goes by weight class, so that it's either a light, a medium, a heavy, or an assault. And in an assault mech, there's a big 20-ton gap, and usually there's about a 10 or 15-ton gap on the other mech classes. We've mentioned before, we've requested that do actual weight-to-weight tonnage matchmaking, and Kalis mentions that we've been asking for this since day one. We want exact weight matching, and sometimes, you get like an Awesome and an Atlas, and that's something we back when open beta opened up, that people say, hey, Laser Angel, don't bring the Awesome because they're always going to get an Atlas on the other side, and that's a 20-ton hit we can't take.
Okay, I just want to steer us into a direction here for a second so we can get on these lightnings.
Grab deal topics.
Yeah, lightning round. I just think it's really messed up that the community is more interested in girls in catsuits than fixing their fucking game.
I will say that, honestly, while that is their decision to do that on No Guts, No Galaxy, I did think it was borderline tasteless, honestly. For those who aren't familiar with what we're talking about, BB Wolf apparently lost a bet and had to stream playing MWO while dressed in a catsuit. I frankly don't think... I don't know if that was... Phil's idea or someone at NGNG's idea, in which case it was, I don't know, it's questionable at best. If it was something that was actually backed by PGI or IGP, which is, I kind of think it might have been, that's really questionable, especially when I think the best way to get people interested in new streaming stuff is to show new stuff.
Diane.
Stream canyons, stream new mechs, stream something that we haven't seen yet, and people will watch. If you're listening to a disembodied voice that is supposed to be in a catsuit, that really doesn't do much for any of us.
Diane.
Is this Volcast or something? So... I said my boner was pleased, but my wallet wasn't in that scenario.
She wants that cute.
I was like, honey, did you get that thing fixed? It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
You gotta be wearing clothes under it.
But really, it was just something stupid and silly that they really shouldn't have done.
Why aren't they like having a discussion about the current meta or anything like that? Because I continuously shift the meta, and it's really killing me. Like, even here's the next topic, the aerospace fighter. It's literally like, what is it, 1 pixel, and it's just...
It has its own model, it's just you can't see it worth the shit, and it kind of makes you wonder why they put so much
and
work
there's
into
no...
it.
There's no sound, the sound of the aircraft going, shh, there's nothing. And that would actually help players, like, kind of recognize they're getting hit.
But you're in a mech, you can't hear it.
It'd be immersion. The sound would be awesome. The sound and the missile, I think, should be much more prominent. The rule of cool, you should be able to see the missile and more of a track effect, maybe just a little bit.
Drop the elevation of the fighter, give it wing contrails, so you see those 2 lines coming off of it as it dives towards the Earth. That would be really cool.
Well, not only that, it also makes it so you can see it.
Have the shine and flare of it entering an atmosphere or something, anything. And then this is actually an idea I had, which would be cool. The thing has upgrades and modules. why not have it where we could upgrade to like a bigger, fighter or bigger payload? Kalis?
1 sec. I was going to say, Laser did correct me that it apparently does have contrails. I wouldn't know because I haven't used this.
You can barely...
I can post a video in the show notes.
Kalis?
Yeah, what I don't understand... Well, I know they don't have radar, obviously, yet, and that's after launch or whatever, but why not use the assets they have access to? Why not have a Bitch and Betty thing where she's like, aerospace fighter detected inbound, or, something like that? Or even like a little marker in the upper right-hand corner.
Okay, TNK, Comcast.
Why not have it fly a little bit lower and have like 3 of them go over instead of just a single unit? Have one of them flying like a V pattern.
Actual formation.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's actually doing its payload run.
And make it look cool.
Yeah, that's actually nice.
Make it feel badass for using it.
Molasses? No, Molasses is good. Oh, no, he's not.
No, I'm good. I axed up again. I was thinking, maybe, I'm not sure if this is okay with the lore or anything, but I feel like just like a direct damage airstrike is kind of lame. Maybe something like smokescreen or something to kind of change the tide of the fight.
Well, the thing is that from what I've heard about, rumors about, is they are going to have smoke shells, I think, weren't they?
I think they were. I think they were supposed to have smoke cells or something eventually. I don't know if that will ever be in, but while we're talking about the aerospace fighter and making it look cool, I think that's something that might be really neat to see is artillery doesn't really have something equivalent to the fighter flying over. Obviously, it's just shells coming down, but what would be really neat to see is like you can kind of see on River City Day like flashes in the background. Yeah, if someone were to fire artillery, have a bunch of flashes, especially on darker maps like River City Night or Frozen City Night with like flashes in the background where you can kind of see, the artillery's going off. Oh shit, get out of the way.
Yeah, some loud cracks, and that would make it
boom,
perfect.
Boom, boom, boom.
Because you can hear artillery from, miles and miles away. It's loud.
Yeah, you add the flashes with a whistling of the shell falling, and that'd just be perfect.
Oh god. I think another thing on the upgrades that you could do, so they're not direct upgrades, but then the final upgrade could probably be something like that. Each fighter as you upgrade could have its own characteristics. So some of the bombers actually act like Stukas. So you actually, and you know that the hit is really strong and it really messes up one mech. So you would get. I actually don't know if there is one that makes a noise when it does, but to do that, Molasses.
I really don't like the idea of you spending extra money. It means that you get to damage somebody else because they didn't spend money. I don't think airstrikes and artillery should be very heavy damage things, even to only one mech.
Yeah, it's borderline pay to win at that point.
I understand that, but currently it's like it does nothing. It doesn't even exist. Laser?
Personally, I'd rather have it do nothing.
Okay, I think I remember Valkyrie a while back. When we were on Desert, and we're on Tourmaline Desert, and we're near the dropship, and there's a little ledge before the giant spires, and when you go left from that one spawn, on the dropship side, and Valkyrie said to me, I wish I had a grenade I could throw on those mechs so I could disperse them, and a split second later, someone drops artillery and it does nothing.
It should have a suppression effect where you just don't, it won't kill you, but you don't want to get hit by it either.
This is what, yeah.
Maybe a screen shake.
This is what it could do. It could basically prevent mechs from camping. Make it where it's super obvious, hey, if you hang out here and you're fucking sniper stalkers, you're gonna die. Molasses?
Yeah, make it...
Maybe make the artillery strike long-lasting, so it's a very low damage but long-lasting in a specific area, just so if you sit around and Pop-Tart, you're gonna get hurt.
Diane?
I was just gonna say that they should make it so it's a focus damage in a really small area. So if they're grouped up together, you'll do a lot of damage, but if you aim wrong, you'll either completely miss or just fuck up one mech if you're lucky.
Val?
It's got to be something where it's spread out enough where it's going to hit multiple mechs if you've got a whole lance hiding behind a ridge on Forest Colony. They could be really something that could break up that whole Pop-Tart, ridge humping meta. Because if you've got 4 Highlanders behind that ridge and you drop 2 artillery strikes right on top of them, it's going to hurt. They really have to play around with this to do something, but I do think artillery needs to have at least a little bit more damage, because as it is, it's like throwing spitballs at them.
Piners?
The only thing that I can see without it doing damage with breaking up someone is something like an EMP shell. That way you have time to rush and flank.
I was also thinking maybe some people are asking for entire grids and everything. How about just make it the size of that fucking square? That way anyone who gets into it to super cap, gets immediately, constantly barraged by...
But then you run into the issue of squares not all being the same size, like on
now they are.
Alpine, where they're gigantic.
No,
are now?
They're all the same size now.
Well, there you go.
Oh, they are. Okay.
That would prevent Raven 3L backcaps. All you'd need is a single scout to drop the artillery. He doesn't have to be in it anymore.
You can tell I haven't played in like a month.
Kalis, I know. Me too.
Well, they've already stated that they want that to be used in the battle grid rather than just, point and shoot. So maybe they're going to let us, pick grids and stuff rather than just, looking blindly and pressing the button.
You mean use the command module, actually?
Actually, we don't. They stated in the last ATD that they do not know what the command module is going to do. They want a passive buff.
Oh my god.
It's the command console, guys.
Command console. All right. The console. That would have been perfect,
Yep.
Having a actual use for a command module, it actually give even more reason to have the Raven. TNK?
I definitely think that having it being launched via battle grid instead of line of sight would definitely be a lot more usable in the game. I think one of the biggest problems right now is that you have to keep line of sight on someone.
Maybe Jason with the tag and then the commander module.
Use a tag for what it's used
console.
for?
Yeah,
nonsense.
Have a Raven with a tag, and then and that could also kind of thwart the whole, it's pay to win, because now you have to have teamwork to actually get it to work.
You are playing the wrong game, sir.
And the other thing is that the commander would have to be occupied with the map to actually use it anyway. So you're down a man, potentially.
Yes, and if you lose either of them, you're dead in the water. You cannot use artillery. Alright, we can move on to our next topic. Boating penalties. No awesome 8Q. No Hunch 4P, no Jenner F. No Atlas RS.
No fun allowed.
No fun allowed. Mechs that are supposed to be boating in a certain direction cannot boat because they cannot carry the loadout they're specifically supposed to be loadout. This is apparently to curb PPC stalkers, but at the same time, PPC stalkers are the only thing trying to curb the Pop-Tarts. So, Laser?
Just so you know, Paul mentioned it in the weapon balancing on May 16th that it's under investigation, and it is something that it's something we've mentioned maybe 6 months ago, and our feeling is sort of, well, this is sort of
why?
We mentioned this 6 months ago. Why are you doing this now?
Why?
We've sort of moved on from there.
Kalis?
Well, they stated that they wanted to do it for larger energy weapons, so hopefully they won't touch mediums or anything of that caliber. Otherwise, we get problems.
Yeah, but it still punishes mechs that are supposed to be loaded out for that, and it does kind of kill those support roles. It just seems so obvious for me to set up a hardpoint system. Laser?
And just so you know, in the feedback thread, we have mentioned that there are certain mechs that are known energy boats, and that these mechs might have something like a quirk that they don't have to suffer the heat penalty, the stacking energy weapon penalty, something like the Awesome 8Q or the Awesome 9M. But have a reason.
Didn't they tell us that they couldn't do that? Or
it's
haven't?
Possible. Just like I said, it's under investigation. In Acid Developers 38, Brian mentioned that it's something they do want to explore. They just need to talk to the engineers.
Oh,
the thing is that that'd be just a single variable they can change. Don't believe what they say. It'd be easy to do. Unless they change it in such a fucked up way that they can't do that.
TNK?
I was actually just about to say what Laser was saying. I'd say the easiest way to get around that is just implement a quirk that negates it. It literally is just switching a 1 to a 0 or something like that. It's not going to be something crazy hard.
Cyan?
No, I already said what I was going to say, sorry.
Okay. Well, I know that they're just exploring this, but to me, it's like, why are you wasting your time? A lot of people have been pushing for a hardpoint system, and it would curb everything. Everything from bad boating to just insane Pop-Tart and sniper builds that do not need to exist. I mean, we're wasting our spiders with ERPPC spiders. Cyan?
I think they should just make it so it curbs weapons that are more meant for like high damage and low rate of fire, more than just boating. Because that seems to be what the problem is. You get high alphas and mechs that can hide for a long time between shots. And that was a big problem with games like World of Tanks as well, where you had a high alpha tank that could just peekaboo, essentially, and just slap anybody.
Next topic, I'd like to talk about a drop and test I did recently of the A1 Great Catapult. It went a lot better than I thought it would. 18 damage, you think that's not quite enough, but, that number adds up. Like I said in the last Concast, damage 108. You can literally melt the face off anything as long as everyone alphas together at the same direction. And it was a steamroll. We went
Delicious
up against
steak cat.
Oh god. We went up against 2 8-man groups, and they were all loaded for Pop-Tart and PPC, and we just spent the entire time jumping around them and hitting their CT at every angle. Most of the time we'd be directly above them, and all the fucking shots would come down on top of them, and they'd get cored. Eventually, they had to pull brawling builds out, ECM DDCs, but that also meant that they were huge targets to, Pop-Tarts and snipers. Cyan?
Well, you might have had a lot of success, but I just want to ask you, how many matches out of the ones that you played did you win?
Quite a bit of them.
Can you give me, a number or something?
Oh, God. We played 10 matches and only lost 4. And it was really stupid. It was like when we lost focus, and the only 3 of them we really won, or not really won, but really lost. And it was when they basically sat clear in the open on Alpine and separated in every direction, so we had to chase them down one at a time as they sniped us. Kalis, you want to talk about boating again?
Yeah, I just wanted to... You know how you were talking about going to a hardpoint system, changing that up? The problem is, this is PGI, and that would just be put on such a long timeline, and we know how long they take to put new features in.
I know.
And how long they test them, and we wouldn't see it for another 6 months.
Yep. Beaky brought that up, but the thing is, if we don't get anything like that, or if they don't work on anything like that on the side, we are going to have problems, especially with the coming clans.
I think they'll probably fix most of the issues before clans come, if they ever do.
But yeah, I'm expecting BAP to be kind of a pain in the ass. The invisible Twitter audience. Why even go to MWO? Why even go to the forum if Twitter is... This is the topic. Why even go to the forum if Twitter is the main target for communication? Diane?
Well, the biggest thing is that with modern socialisms and all that, forums themselves have kind of died out as a social medium for people to get out to their
social
audience
network
quickly.
sites, bro.
Yeah, social networks. It's basically, it's easier to go to Twitter because a lot of people use Twitter. It's fast, it's easy. Using forums, you got to go to account, you got to go find what the topic you want. It's kind of a mishmash, and they're trying to reach the more modern audience, I would say, by using Twitter.
Yeah, well, the nuking of the general forums didn't really help either.
Yeah, exactly.
Molasses?
I feel as using Twitter for them acts kind of like as a I wouldn't say damage control, but like public relations. Like more people are going to see the Twitter post. People aren't going to go out of their way to sign up on the site to look for the forum button to log in and then find the post they want to look at. When it's on Twitter, they immediately see the devs responding with whatever bullshit they want to talk about, which is probably why they use it in the first place.
And that's directly. And I was just saying it's a direct response instead of we're talking to you as the PGI to the forum lights.
Laser?
When it comes to that, I think in Ask Developers number 38, they discussed, Brian mentioned that they're trying to link together the front page of MWO Mercs so that it makes it easier for them to sort of post information more readily. And Commander Caps in chat said that in Twitter, you basically talk directly to Brian and not some faceless audience. You have to sign up. People sometimes use their real names. I honestly don't know enough about Twitter, but can you expand upon that, Commander Caps in chat, and maybe I can address it in a minute?
Okay, let's talk to the Devs number 38 when Brian linked to his Twitter post on deaths before win by capping. Laser?
I think it just sort of reinforces sort of the back posting that he posts more on Twitter about information more readily than he himself logs into the forums and posts about it.
Kalis?
Well, as far as the ATD, the last one, Brian doesn't seem to have a connection with this game in the sense he doesn't really understand it. He stated that stock mechs were viable. I don't think anybody here knows that they're competitive or would even expect that you could possibly try to compete with those.
All right. Well, I'm just going to put this out here so that way everyone knows exactly what we're dealing with and we're on the same page. Brian basically said that only, 20%, 25% of games are won by cap. Well, my issue with this is basically this. How many of those games, are the caps drained, Brian? I want to know how many of the games where it was literally a rush back to base because they had to deal with the cap, and how angry and upset they were, and it was barely holding on. Because you got to know what the percentages are on every games and give us the general percentage. Miners?
Well, if they have the statistics on how many games are won by actual capping, you think they'd realize that we need a new game mode like King of the Hill where we can have brawling all out in the center.
I remember asking for that in closed beta. Suggestion. Val?
I know I've seen this recommendation before, but I've been playing World of Tanks for the past week or so trying to get my Panzer IV because I'm a huge Girls in Panzer idiot. Anyway, one of the things I noticed that World of Tanks does that probably would work really well in MWO would be that in World of Tanks, when people are capping, if they get off the cap or they die on the cap, the portion of the cap that they had done goes away. So say you have 4 Ravens who go and they rush your cap immediately and they stand on the cap and they wait till it gets to 1% and then they get off and they go fight, and then if they start losing, one just goes and touches the cap and they win. If basically you did the World of Tanks model, the moment they get off the cap, it's back at fully charged. You have to go and stand on there the whole time again. That would really fix the whole system, because now capping is still a viable way to win if you 7 kills on one side, and you got that one last spider hiding out there. Everyone else can go stand on the cap and just finish it that way. But you prevent people from taking pre-mades where you've got 4 Pop-Tartars and 4 light mechs just go run on the cap, stand on it as long as they can, and then hop off, and then once they start losing, they go and just touch it, and that's it. Because that's really, really stupid and really annoying when it happens.
That's the winning meta. Laser?
Just to go back on what Commander Cap said, on Twitter, you're not necessarily a faceless audience that you subscribe, you follow, and on the forums there's a chance that he might make a post and then no one reads it.
Actually, do you remember way back when they told us that they don't really read the suggestions? What they read is generally the direction of where all
Trends.
the trend. And I think that's what made the GD explode, is when they said that. Because then suggestions became GD.
Well, to go back on what you were saying about them tracking stats about caps and stuff, I don't mean to bounce back and forth, but
no, it's fine.
I remember what I wanted to say. Basically, from what we've been hearing is that they're not even really keeping track of a lot of stats. A lot of the times they say like, "Oh, well, we hadn't thought about tracking that. Now that someone's brought it up, we'll do that now."
You're not looking at what. There's a term for it. There's like a German term for this, where you think a statistic basically means something and it's not. In World War I, the French wrote a paper about how when they had helmets, it was causing more head injuries. Well, it was causing more head injuries because they were getting shot and surviving. They were getting shot in the head and surviving.
It's an old saying, there's 3 kinds of lies. Lies, damned lies, and statistics.
And then statistics, yeah, Mark Twain. Is it the Flamers? Okay.
It's the Flamers.
We're moving on to the Flamers. Oh, yes, that is right. PGI did good. They did a good thing. We can praise them today.
No, hold the phone. I don't know if this is just a rumor or something I actually heard officially, so could someone confirm that for me?
What, the Flamers?
No, yeah, was that actually in the patch notes?
No, well, I don't know.
It's for the 21st. It'll be for the 21st.
Oh, thank lordy. Basically, they finally made a use for Flamers. What it's going to do is it's going to make shooting while you're on fire a bad idea. And I think they could expand on it even more. But it's really nice. It's 90% heat cap, but no stun lock. So basically, it heats up all outer components. Your internal engine, though, is fine. shielded and it's away from, everything else that's exposed. So you can run away at least. But, shooting, returning fire, and trying to fight in that is a bad idea. And
unless it's Goose.
Yeah. I wish Jude was here, because he actually used to run a 9-flamer Hunchback. And then Limery used to run... How many flamethrowers can you get into the Awesome? I can't remember. But he used
6.
6. He used to run around with 6 flamers. Cyan?
Well, you got to think the inverse of this as well. So now we have a heat cap. Now, if you're only running flamers, you can't actually do much other than just piss people off. Which I guess was the original intention, just as like a silly weapon.
Well, that's what the flamer's always been there for, as I thought.
I'm very excited that that Clan Propane Eagle is about to rise from the ashes.
I'm just grateful that the flamethrower actually works. I care about each individual weapon and how things operate. Me, this is, this is finally, maybe we work on pulse lasers now, huh? Get useful pulse lasers. It would be, I care about each individual weapon. I do. I really do. I do, because it adds flavor, and it creates cool situations, and you get to see them used, and...
Do you cuddle with a large pulse laser at night, Connor?
I do. I'm. Oh my god, I do. When are they going to fix those pulse lasers? Because it's such a basic fix. I think I'd really like to see them do it. It would be instead of just go back to the MechWarrior 3 system where you hold it down and the heat rises. Laser.
The large pulse laser is pretty viable in terms of heat-wise. In close range, they'll wreck you up pretty bad, except the meta has shifted so far that you need to use PPCs.
Well, yeah. Even when people were running it and I could still run the large lasers, it's still not quite enough. I think it's cool and everything, it's okay, but it's just not there. Cyan?
It's far from cool. You get a little bit more damage out of it. You only get a little bit more damage out of it for that huge heat bump. And while I think that the beam is shorter burn-in time, I believe, it's just not viable at this point to take it over just normal large lasers. And, why should I take these large pulses over these normal lasers if they weigh more, they cause more heat, etc.?
You got less range, and then it's just they're heavy laser.
I know I mentioned the large pulse laser, but I think our bigger concerns with the medium and the small pulse lasers.
Well, we don't even think about those. No one even uses small lasers other than just silly builds, I think.
Well, you might see a shift here with the flamers coming in, because that may actually change the meta entirely. Because you're going to have brawling that may start coming up, because you're going to have these people with flamers that want to get close, and they're going to want fast weapons that fire quickly, cool down quickly, and can get constant damage over and over again. So you're going to see people with either small pulse lasers or medium pulse lasers, because they're going to have the refire rate. They're going to be cooling faster while you're heating someone up, so you can get more damage quicker onto them in brawling range, get your target down, and then start moving on to the next one.
I don't think you'll see enough flamers to make that an actual concern.
Okay, so let's move on to our next. Maximizing your MC with premium or a hero mech.
I'll include a link. It's from the Matani, our friends, the Goons. I believe that's a Goon blog.
Yeah.
Am I under the right? Okay. They have. I'll post a link in the notes, but they have a 2-page article with some nice charts and spreadsheets and graphs that they're comparing 30 days of premium time to purchasing a hero mech, and which hero mechs also get you the best equipment and for the MC that you actually spend, and sort of the investment in MC that you're going to get for the C-bill outcome.
Okay, Cyan.
I just wanted to ask a question of the Concast, actually, now that we're on the topic of hero mechs. How many here actually own a hero mech, or more than one, or whatever, and which ones did you get?
I used to own a Founder's mech, that was about it.
Laser.
I have a Founder's Catapult and a Heavy Metal.
Okay, T&K.
I have a couple of hero mechs. I have Miramit's Heavy Metal.
Nice choice.
I think, let's see here. I picked the Babby because why not?
Okay, Kalis.
I have a Founder's Atlas and a Misery.
Val.
I've got my Founder's Hunchback, the Hunchback 4G, 4 no GF, as I call it, and the Ilya Muramets, which I tend to call the Mammy Mets since it just spits ammunition everywhere when I stick UACs on it.
Piners.
And I've got the 4 Founders along with the Heavy Metal.
Okay, Laser.
Just to let everyone know, back in the old days when open beta started, when Kong would drop, you could literally see all the bronze and gold badges, and you just don't see that anymore. So yes, Kong is a bunch of founders too.
Well, that was a closed beta. All you are going to see is founders, right?
I mean open beta.
Yeah.
Open beta.
Well,
Something
everybody
to keep in mind
hides it
about
now.
that.
It's kind of
Something
like
to keep in mind about that, though, is that a lot of Kong members, you'll notice, are very few of them are actually golds. Most of us are bronze and blue, simply because we always, it being, us being from 4chan, there's a very heavy dose of skepticism in pretty much anything that we actually look at. So you had the occasional gold founder, but the vast majority of us have always been kind of skeptical from the start. And so you'll see a lot of bronze and blue founders in our ranks.
Miners is like one of the few golds that actually shows as gold.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud that I'm a founder, and I think everyone else that, regardless of what color it is, should be proud and should start wearing their badges. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Let's see what we got. Hidden details on the May 21st patch. UAVs.
God, who even wants a UAV? Is this Call of Duty or what?
It's third person. Actually, I think this will reduce scouting. Laser?
Remember, we want medium and light mechs to be as useless as humanly possible here. This is the idea.
Of course.
Yeah, no scouts allowed. Laser.
Pretty much this is the topic I brought up that we could discuss. It is from, looks like MWO on Reddit, and they mined the data files of the game. It may or may not be what actually is implemented on May 21st. Here's what we have. The UAV is a consumable which lasts for 40 seconds. It has a 240-meter sensor range by default. It can be targeted at 180 meters, and it has 10 health.
Targeted?
You can't target it until it's within 180 meters. Like it has its own little built-in ECM. You can see it, but you can't target it.
That's so fucking tiny.
It has 10 hit points.
One streak can kill it.
Yeah, at 10 hit points, you hit it with 2 mediums within the targeting range. It's gone. So.
Oh god.
Wait, so you launch it from your mech or something?
In the 2009 preview and the MechWarrior 5 2009, yeah, they're using the same model. You launch it, it pops out of your mech, little door opens, it rockets out, it flies out. Right now it looks like 3 waypoints. I'm not sure. If you upgrade it, it's update this text, and there are several different names for the MC and the C-Bill versions, like advanced, and there are pilot skills that you can eventually get with 15,000 GXP to more than likely improve the C-Bill version to be.
And before everyone just launches it onto their red square to monitor it.
That would be
It doesn't
a good
last
tactic.
that long.
I know. Laser?
Yeah, it only lasts 60 seconds, and I don't know if there's if they're doing the little consumable countdown where you can't launch another one.
I got the chance. I pet my Servo Skull. I love you, Servo Skull. Val?
The problem I see with this is that it's really only going to be well balanced on maps that are really big, like Tourmaline and Alpine. On stuff like Forest Colony, where you just go, okay, are they going river or are they going land? It's really going to just kind of take any guesswork out of it and turn it into death balls.
The thing is that, on smaller maps you probably won't even use it anyway because you'll just know where they're coming from right from spawn.
That's a good
point.
point.
The other thing is that while it's a neat consumable and all, is it targetable at all? Does it just die instantly from anything touching it? Am I going to want to use this?
Laser?
Commander Caps again in chat mentions that a new consumable, holy shit, it's overpowered, pay to win, or B, it's useless, why did you guys even implement it?
Oh god. That's also an idea I had a while back. If we had a hardpoint system much like MechWarrior 4, guess what? You could have more varied hardpoints, and then you could make your hero mechs actually matter. Because some of these hero mechs and other mechs are just the same. There's no real... What use is the pretty baby?
Some people like it.
It's got one ballistic hardpoint, but whoop-de-fucking do.
Let's talk about fucking... What else have we got? I really want to talk more about the expansion of the artillery. That was fun. Can we do that some more? Maybe move it around and put it on the end and split this shit up more. Because really, I would love to see that. I would love if... it would be really cool if you were in an 8-man and you dropped... and you saw a drop ship, like a Union drop ship, and you go, uh-oh, it's got, Thunderbolts. What are they, the Thunderbolt 6 for naval? I can't remember. Okay, so this was Kast, I guess. We'll see you next week after patch.
I guess that's it for today, guys.
You're
guess that's
awful at
it.
this. Thanks for listening to the Concast, everyone. We'll see you next week when we talk about the game and whether or not it's completely dead after this new patch, because it'll probably make or break it for a lot of people. Have a good one.
Val.
Well, old Mr. Johnson had troubles all his own. He had an old yeller cat that wouldn't leave home. Tried everything he knew to get the cat to stay away. Even took him up to Canada and told him for to stay. But the cat came back the very next day. Thought he was a goner, but the cat came back 'cause he wouldn't stay away.